Hey, it's Ryan from SimplyBetterPiano.com, and today we're looking at major chords and minor chords. What's the difference and how to play them? Let's take a look. The first thing I want to do is make sure you understand what a half step is. A half step is just the smallest distance between any two notes on the piano, and it's the building block we're going to use to build these chords. If we start on an F, for instance, and we want to move up a half step, instead of moving to the next white key, we're going to move up to this black key here. That's the smallest distance I can travel. There are no other keys in between here, so we know that is a half step. And if we want to move down a half step, we will move down to the next white key because there are no other keys in between. You see that? So that is how you move by a half step. So let's use these to make a major chord. If you are reading a piece of sheet music or a chord chart or a lead sheet and you see a chord symbol and it is just the name of a note like G or B flat or F sharp and there are no other letters or numbers or symbols next to it, that is the symbol for a major chord. And a major chord is just a three-note chord, sometimes called a triad, tri meaning three, a three-note chord. And the first note that we're going to find on that three-note chord, that major chord, is what we call the root of the chord. And the root of the chord is actually that note that the chord is named after. So if it's a G chord, the root of the chord is a G note. And the second note of the chord we're going to find is the note that is 4 half steps up from the root. So we're going to count 4 half steps just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. You see, I didn't count G. I played G, but then I started counting with the next note up. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have a B here. B is the next note up in a G chord. Now we only have one more note to find. That note is 7 half steps up from the root. So let's find the root again, G, and count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we have a D here. That's the third note. So we have G, B, and D. And that's our G major chord. Let's do another one. Let's find a D major chord. So if we have D, that's right in between these two black keys, and we count up 4 half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can keep counting up to 7 now. 5, 6, 7. So we found the root, the note that's 4 half steps up, and the note that is 7 half steps up. And altogether, that makes a major chord. In this case, a D major chord. Now, what about minor chords? If you are reading a piece of music and you see a chord name that is the name of a note, like G or B flat or D, and next to it you see a lowercase m or lowercase min, those are the two most common indications, you'll know that that is looking for a minor chord. Sometimes you'll also see a minus symbol next to the note. You'll see a D and then a minus symbol. That also indicates a minor chord. So let's find out what half steps we have to count to make a minor chord. It's actually only one note difference from a major chord. Let's take a look. Let's start back on that G again. So we have the G, and let's make a major chord first. So we count up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 half steps, and then 5, 6, 7 half steps. So here's our G major chord. Now let's take the note that was 4 half steps up, and instead of playing this, let's move it down a half step. Now we have G minor. That's the only difference. You take the note that is 4 half steps up and move it down a half step. So now here's G minor. Now to count that, what you would do is start with the root, and instead of counting 4 half steps, you count 3 half steps. 1, 2, 3, and then continue counting to 7 like with the major chord. 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's our G minor chord. Let's make another one. Let's make an E minor chord. So start with E, count up 3 half steps. 1, 2, 3, and then count up to 7. 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's our E minor chord. And just like we could transform a major chord into a minor chord by lowering that note a half step, we can do the opposite. We can now raise it up a half step and turn a minor chord into a major chord. So let's find that note that's 3 half steps up and we just raise it up a half step. There we go. Now we have an E major chord. So now you know how to make a major chord and a minor chord. So now go around the piano and find different notes. It doesn't even matter if you know what the note is called or not, but start with a note and then count up 4 half steps and then count up 7 half steps and try to make major chords around the piano, and do the same thing with minor chords. Count up 3 half steps and then also count up to that 7th half step to find the top note, and make minor chords around the piano. Get used to making those major and minor chords around on the different notes of the piano. If this has been helpful to you, if this video has had helpful information for you, and if you'd like to get better at playing chords on the piano, then I'd like to recommend to you my Quick Start Chord Guide. It's a free PDF download that has step-by-step instructions for how to play the 5 most common types of chords on the piano. And you can find that at simplybetterpiano.com/guide. So download that for free, check it out. I think it'll be a lot of help to you. And if you liked this video, if it had good information, please let me know in the comments. Or if there's anything about this video or about piano that's confusing to you or that you don't quite understand, let me know that in the comments as well. Ask me your questions. I'd love to either answer them in the comments or maybe make a future video on that topic. Otherwise, if you like this video, please click that like button, click the subscribe button, and I will see you on the next video.